It has been 1 year in the making. We have been planning this for months. I'm not gonna waste any more time. Welcome, one and all, to the 1 year anniversary show of the Wise Guys. I am one of your hosts, Jim Crenity, and who might that be coming in momentarily here? The Rican is here.
The Rican left a second. Hold on.
And the Rican is back.
James. To you, sir.
But wait,
There's more.
The third member of the unofficial Wise Guys Elite, Alex
Going
Ruby.
Only have the mullet in the back.
Hold on. You went Latino heat. I heard, oh, not again. I need a new camera.
He's frozen.
No, it's not frozen. It's stupid. I need a new camera.
Not quite Latino heat, but let me just say, something happened to those earbuds, something gonna happen to you.
Well, here's the best part. So I hear the car, and I forgot that's how Eddie's music started. And my thought was, he went Mick Foley for Alex? That's amazing.
The bad guy is here. Alex, what's going on, buddy? Thank you so much for coming on, because you're as much as part of this as anybody.
I appreciate that, guys. It's always a good time joining you guys, and I'm counting down the seconds here till we go off the wire. Off the rails, I should say.
All right, so let me start and let's go there.
Okay.
You got it.
Real quick, Alex, I have 4 words for you. Oh, wait. I'm sorry. Wrong one.
You're killing me, Smalls.
He finally watched it.
It took me 2 days because I was cutting video for 3 hours for that intro and everything else you're seeing here. But yeah, I finished it about 45 minutes before we went live.
He told me today, he goes, I'm at the scene with the pool. And I go, oh, that's just the best.
Oh, God.
He's a
Beautiful.
deep shit.
The funny thing is it didn't even click until I started watching it. It's like, oh my God, that's the same actress who played Margaret in Pleasantville. And that's like one of my all-time favorite movies. And man, did I have a thing for her when I first saw that movie.
Tobey Maguire, Reese Witherspoon, Paul Walker.
Yes.
Okay.
She
Alex,
was those are Whitey's cookies.
Yeah, okay.
Knots, yeah.
So, Alex, if you couldn't tell, as much as we talk sports every other time we get together, this is going to be just basically Jim and I doing what we used to do when we had the original Wise Ass Sports Network, which was a blog site back in 1998. You were like 4.
No, not quite.
10?
Close.
Okay. So I do want to get a couple of sports things in. First of all, can your line – what was that one? Dude, how much –
You suck.
Nice.
Little Shao Kahn in there.
Can your offensive line please fucking protect Justin Fields?
No. No.
Listen, first of all, as I get a text from my wife, I said thank you because Bobby is actually still awake. I brought him in, and I just said thank you, and she said for what, and I'm going to write back for the hilarity that's about to ensue. As you know, I am not watching any NFL football this year, and the fact that Ohio State is off this week, I'm not watching any football this week. Shut up. But did you happen to see that last night at 11 o'clock, Brian Hartline took a shot at your wide receiver room? The wide receiver coach from Ohio State?
I'm not surprised. It's just shot after shot by anybody and everybody at this
He
point.
he basically tweeted out, these wide receivers stink.
Yeah, they all should be like plumbers. That's who they should bring in.
No, if they were plumbers, they'd be playing defense on Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
Give me one.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Hey, what was your
Carson
over-under on off
Wentz
the
is
rails?
7-0 on Thursday Night Football.
Do you know what's scary about that? I work with a guy who's a Commanders fan. And by the way, off topic, not that we're going to be on topic tonight, but does anyone else think Washington missed the boat on not becoming the Sentinels?
We've covered this for months.
I mean, seriously,
Absolutely.
though, I'm alcohol-induced. Leave me alone. But in all seriousness, come on. You want to talk about – first of all, you got the guy that got shot. He came back, scored a touchdown last night. That's pretty cool. Got to give him credit where credit's due. But did you just drop your drink?
No.
Okay, I had to make you do a shot on live air. But in all seriousness, they missed out. Do you know how rocking that place would have been if freaking Keanu Reeves came running out in a Shane Falco Commanders jersey or Sentinels jersey?
Electric.
Well, Jim's got the Shane Falco jersey. I'm surprised you're not wearing it tonight.
No, it's naturally Alex wanted to go Razor Ramon. You naturally went Timmy Trumpet. For me, I had to go Lacuna Coil. They re-released their 2004 breakout album, Comalize. They basically took the album, stripped it down, rewrote everything, and then it came out today. I actually got a leak of it yesterday. My CDs came today. I had to represent. It was basically the album that changed my life.
That's cool. I don't know if I've had an album like that. Alex, what about you? You had an album that just kind of put it all in perspective for you?
I don't think so. Not one in particular, no.
Chronic 2001 did it a little bit for me.
Okay.
It's Dre and M.
I mean, I guess you can say if I had to take it back, probably the Blueprint, Jay-Z, like
Nice.
98, 99, I want to say, around there.
Nice.
I'm going to say a very close second for me is 10 from Pearl Jam.
Oh, that's a great album. You know, the funny thing is that the two that I listen to the most front to back in my entire life, it's not like a greatest hits album, is Cracked Review from Hootie. And believe it or not, Yourself or Someone Like You from Matchbox 20. So you know what else? You know what Jim and I used to do when we cut class 25, 30 years ago?
You guys cut class? Hold on.
In college? I don't think no.
It was junior college. It didn't really matter.
No.
What'd you guys
Kind of
used to
like kind of like roughing the passer penalties. Anyway, we used to actually sit and talk to chicks on a Matchbox 20 chat room. For
This was
hours.
also like 90. This was also like 97, 98, and the internet was like still infantile back then.
Jim,
like-
did you have a Tri-C email address?
I did not. I had a remember my email address was extremesandman@yahoo.com. I actually I masked my email after the ECW Sandman.
That's because you're the idiot who used to crush the cans on your head.
Correct.
Okay.
But this was so old, Alex. Gmail, you had to actually you couldn't sign up randomly. You actually had to put in an application to get an email back then.
Yep.
Wow. Okay.
Angel Fire was a thing. Lycos was still a thing.
Yeah, we're old. So I do want to stick with some sports stuff tonight, guys. I know I said we were going to go off the rails, but I did a couple of things that came up. First of all, a little sad moment for you Cardinals guys today.
Yeah.
With Bruce Sutter passing away today. They said it comes in threes, and unfortunately the world of entertainment caught two this week. I don't know if you saw Robbie Coltrane who played Hagrid in the Harry Potter movies, was my wife's thing. But also, for those of us of the Bond generation, played Vladimir Dmitrovich Sukovsky in GoldenEye and The World Is Not Enough with Pierce Brosnan. Phenomenal movies. Brosnan's my favorite Bond, but, and of course, dude, Angela Lansbury died.
Yeah, it's you know
Oh.
what? I was seeing something on Twitter, praising her because she was like the next in line. They were hopeful that she was going to be like the next Betty White to make the century mark, and then like 3 days later, she's gone.
I saw that come out. I was putting Bobby to bed, and Bobby goes to sleep to Finding Nemo most nights. But I turned on the scene from Beauty and the Beast when they're dancing and she's singing the song Beauty and the Beast as the teapot.
Okay.
My mom has watched Murder, She Wrote every night this week. Alex,
Did you
where's
ever
yours?
see the?
Where's yours? Very good.
Did you ever see or hear the classic story with Murder, She Wrote and how it incorporated into John's Pat Summerall and John Madden?
No, I didn't, but something tells me that I should know this one.
So during the 4:00 broadcast, because they always had the marquee game on it was CBS.
Yeah,
way
it was always
back
the
then.
fucking Cowboys too.
Right. It was so what they used to do, and I saw this on a Madden interview a couple of years before he died. And what they used to do is they used to actually egg each other on to actually see how long. Alex, you'll appreciate this. Do you remember Lance Storm's entrance when they used to announce him way back in WCW and ECW, where they would do the pause for dramatic effect?
Mm-hmm.
So they used to do the same thing. So, Mike, there was a wrestler in ECW and WCW named Lance Storm, one of the best wrestlers in the world.
I
They
remember
billed him from Calgary, Alberta, Canada. And it was they started mocking it. So the announcers would actually say he's from Calgary, pause for effect, Alberta, Canada. And they actually used to say pause for effect. What Madden and Summerall used to do is they used to say murder and then try to actually see how long they could go before she wrote, before they had their producers screaming in their ears.
Well, yeah, because it was the 4:00 game. It was 60 minutes, and then it was Murder, She Wrote every Sunday night.
Right.
Someone seriously put Julie Andrews in a ring of salt or something. Supernatural reference.
Oh,
Salt keeps demons and ghosts out.
Oh, like the like putting it along the threshold or something. Okay.
Yeah. So who is that? Is Julie Andrews the next one?
You'd have to deep dive that a little bit.
What are we doing for the next hour and stuff? The other question I have for you guys is Draymond Green in the wrong business?
he needs to be in the UFC.
Either the UFC or the WWE, because he's a schmuck. God, Mike, I thought he was an asshole before. This is just ridiculous. I mean, kicking people in the junk is one thing, but you straight cold-cocked your teammate.
Yeah, not,
That's something
not
out of
a good
Albert
look.
Bell's book.
This is just Draymond being Draymond.
Oh, God, stop. Manny was actually funny. Draymond's a douche.
There's
no makers in there.
I saw a comment online this week that made me laugh that said that he cost the Warriors the championship in 16, like they were gonna win that had he played anyway.
You know what kills me about that? And as I wear the Big Reek and Cavs shirt tonight, because I do want to talk about that a little bit. Everybody said that the Cavs only won because he was suspended for that one game. Well, last time I checked, he was on the floor for 6 and 7.
Right.
And they
He had a-
lost. He had a
he
triple-double in
nearly
Game
had-
7, didn't he?
What, he was late? Yeah, didn't he have a triple-double in 7?
He was a rebound short.
I couldn't remember if it was a triple-double or if he was one short of something.
He was the leading scorer for the Warriors that night. He had 30-something points.
Well, of course, because Steph was actually throwing behind-the-back passes into the second row.
Or his, mouthpiece hit somebody in the front row.
Well, that was Game 6, but yeah.
Oh, yeah. But it blows my mind that it's been 6 years since that happened. Didn't we do our show last year in June on the 19th?
We did.
I thought so. It was the
I think
actual
we-
night.
I think we let off with it.
Oh, yeah. No, that was obviously this year in June. Yeah, we did lead off with it being 6 years since the championship. So, Alex, I want to ask you something, and I didn't prepare Jim for this one. So I'm going to ask you this question, and it's from the bottom of my heart that I have to ask you this question.
God.
How many more broads got to come forward before they just kick his ass out of the league?
Oh, shit.
That was beautiful. Seriously, another one?
It's gonna be a couple more probably, and I mean by the way that I'm looking at it, he's gonna play, and it's just a travesty. I don't think he should ever step foot on a football field again. But when it comes down to it, at the end of the day, what does the NFL and the TV networks care about? So he'll play.
The problem is he's going to cost Cleveland a lot more money than he's going to make him.
Mm-hmm.
Jim,
I agree.
what's the word on the street at home?
Well, there's it's basically another day, another dollar. Water's wet, sky's blue at this particular point. It's it came down late yesterday afternoon. I've been on vacation, so I haven't been listening to a whole lot of radio. I've been, touch and go here, checking the internet, saw the expanded story from, I can't remember if it was Rappaport or Schefter. And then I did see a separate AP report. I saw our colleague, Natalie, going back and forth with people on Twitter about it. Some of the radio hosts are saying, here we go again. Others are actually saying, well, it's going to cost them more money, but he's not going to serve any more games. The suspensions, they're not going to extend this unless it actually comes out that he raped the girl. I mean, let's be honest, but it's that's the only way I actually see this suspension getting extended. But then again, if this is I don't want to say unconfirmed, but if this is an unsolicited act here, I could see a scenario where he doesn't see the field at all this year.
Not that it's going to matter. Their defense is almost as porous as Alex's offensive line.
There it is.
Sorry.
It's okay.
But here's my question, though. Does it bother you more that I'm right or that they're not doing anything about it?
No, I mean, I'm perfectly in accordance with you. Right, the fact that they're not sitting on their hands and not doing about it is more offensive than anything.
I agree. And getting real for a minute. Fields. No, let me go back. I think CJ Stroud is going to be the best Buckeye quarterback in the pros. I think Fields can run a close second. I honestly think
the measuring stick's not that great.
No, it's not. But look at all the different scenarios these guys have been drafted into. Dwayne Haskins would have been the one had he not been drafted to a team that did not want him. 2 coaching staffs did not want him. The latter-day George Steinbrenner, who's hiring private investigators to go after the friggin' owners, He wanted him. It was a Jerry
How-
Jonesian type move.
How nuts is that story?
Do you expect anything else out of that asshole?
What's more nuts? What's going on in DC or what's going on in Cleveland?
DC, because there's no felonies attached. It's crazy in
Or are
Cleveland
there?
because there's felonies. Well,
Yeah, but here's also the thing. The allegations against Pudding Pops are getting more and more elevated. And every time I'd use that, I told my father that. He laughed his ass off.
I'm sorry. I shouldn't be laughing. Sorry.
yes, you should.
You're killing me, Smalls.
Perfect timing.
It's
But-
getting to the point. Jim's going to get this, and you're not, Alex. It's getting to the point where they need to start penning these allegations over in picture pages.
You son of a bitch. You absolute son of a bitch.
Alex, picture pages was a segment on Fat Albert that
Mhm.
Bill Cosby used to do, where he would basically color something in for the kids on TV. I had
Okay.
to.
I'll do one worse. Mike, you don't even know about this. I'm going to throw a name out from the past that you're going to vaguely remember because it was towards the end of our high school time. Adam, my best friend, my brother, myself, and Jeff Baltitis
Well, I remember Jeff.
go to Denny's after an ECW show one night.
Oh, is this when you saw Walt?
No.
Okay.
This was 97. They had just done a TV taping, and Alex, go figure, the Dudleys almost incited a riot that night, to where 6 or 7 guys were ready to jump the rail, and big guys too. And we're sitting in Denny's. It's 2:00 in the morning.
Mayfield?
Yeah, the one. Yeah,
Okay.
the one over on Wilson Mills.
Yep.
And we're putting together a joke comedy metal band. And the name of this band was Rolock. It was color spelled backwards. And two of the songs that we had made up. One was called the Ode to the Food Network, where my brother was going to take a bite of a pie, says this tastes like shit, and somebody was going to smash the pie in his face. There was one that we called the Ballad of Britney Spears, where Adam was going to scream, "Hit me, baby," one more time as loud as he could, and somebody was going to hit him in the head with a cookie sheet. But then Baltitis gets the bright idea to write a song, and I don't even remember how it goes, called "Bill Cosby Has Pudding Dripping from His Balls."
I think we need to close up shop for the night, boys. That's a wrap
No.
for this one.
No. That's wonderful. You know what? And Baltitis is a twisted SOB. And I can't believe we went from picture pages to putting on the balls. I can't believe that we made that jump. Only on this show, James.
But anyway, with Watson, more and more stuff keeps coming out, and yeah, he's a scumbag, but there's not felonies attached. But the NFL's been trying to get rid of. They've sanctioned the Washington franchise. They've taken away draft picks. They fined him. They've been trying to get that franchise out of his hands for years with his conduct. What's worse? Because right now they're headed towards a photo finish.
They're not, for one very simple reason. Dan Snyder's probably losing money. This idiot's doing what he's doing, and he's going to cash a check for $230 million. That's what's wrong.
Until something dramatic comes out and they actually find a way to void portion of that contract when it's tied up in legal fees.
They won't do it. You're telling me Jimmy Haslam's going to give up his shiny new toy? Or do
If
anything to make him not want to be there?
If things keep coming out, and let's say one of these is dramatically horrific, he may not have a choice.
Jim, it's franchise suicide. It's franchise suicide. if they try, and I'm going to say it like this. There are a lot of people saying that he's going to be the savior. Not with that secondary. Last time I checked, he doesn't play defensive back. Offensive douche, maybe. Defensive back, no.
Did you like my tweet on Sunday
About Denzel?
about hospital ward?
Yeah.
Talk
Yeah.
about taking a $100 million contract and flushing it down the toilet.
Could be worse. Could take $230 million, throw it behind bars. Alex, you were saying?
So aside from the whole Watson situation, like what is going on with their organization and their team? Like I thought they were like primed and ready to win, and this guy was just going to be like theoretically that last piece of the puzzle aside from his
Can I answer?
bullshit.
Michael has his hand raised.
Can I answer? The fan base is fucking nuts. That's what the problem is. Anybody who knew what they were talking about. Yes, the offense is great on paper, unless Amari Cooper gets hurt. Donovan Peoples-Jones is not a number one. Just because of where he went to school, he may be just a number two. Dude, here. Shut up. But all kidding aside, I love Myles Garrett. He's not TJ Watt. I love him. I do. I think he's great. I think he's one of the top defensive players in the league. He's not TJ Watt. Their linebacking core has holes. Their now, outside of JOK, their defensive secondary, because Joe Woods is an absolute fucking moron, has problems because he won't stop playing fucking zone. Denzel Ward's played man since he was at Nordonia High School, which is on the east side of Cleveland. He played man at Ohio State. That's how he got to be a top 4 pick. He played man his first 2 years in the league, which is how he became a Pro Bowler. This dumb bastard's got him playing zone, and he's a shit zone corner.
Still the second best professional athlete to come out of Nordonia. Alex might know this. He is a 2-time WWE champion, and he's awesome.
The Miz.
Miz.
The Miz.
Talk about a guy who's winning in life.
Oh man, yeah.
And you know what? He's true to his roots, too. I will give him that.
Oh, yeah. It's did you ever see the video of him the night that the fridge is unlocked?
No.
He's got one of the fridges in his house. Alex, I don't know if you remember this, but when the Browns had their 0 for 600-day streak, they were selling Bud Light fridges with beer in them, and they were locked, and you could not get them off. So once the Browns finally won a game, the fridges were going to automatically unlock. The chains were going to drop, and you were going to have access to all the beer on the inside. They were about $1,000 a piece. So Mizanin's got a small one, and he's watching the game with all of his buddies in Cleveland. The thing goes, they're about ready to kneel. Baker's about ready to kneel down on the last thing, and he just gets in front of it like he's going to propose to it, and he's like, just give it to me. Give it to me.
Between that and JR and his shirt. You didn't see that?
No.
All right, so I'm in Cleveland that night. My buddy Nick and I drove the next day. We went to Columbus. It was Ohio State Tulane. It was Urban's first game back from the Zach Smith suspension. I'm at my sister's and I go back to my parents' house. Oh, I had Slimans that day too, Jim.
You know, I have never had Slimans in the there's like one of them on the east side.
I'm putting that with the Goonies thing, James.
It's in first of all, it's in Cleveland Heights, and I'm not driving all the way over there just to get a burger.
Got you. Burger. Slimans is the one with the corned beef, Jim.
I'm not a big corned beef guy.
What the hell?
I'd like to put this on pause for one moment. We have another guest.
Now, I haven't seen this person, I don't think, since graduation night. If it's who I think it is. That's next month, by the way.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Can we call this now unofficially high school reunion too?
Since they're making another
Nope.
American Pie, why not?
Nope, I refuse.
So, Alex, this is our Pittsburgh fan friend.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is one of our oldest friends. Her name is Andrea Johnson, currently living down in North Carolina.
South
South
Carolina.
North.
Which part?
And a diehard Pittsburgh fan, but we won't hold that against her tonight.
Why?
Because they suck this year. That's okay.
That's very true.
As Browns fans say every year, it's a rebuilding year. There's always next year.
It's called a rebuilding decade, and with this douchebag, it's going to take a lot longer. Anyway.
Andrea, very, very quick.
Yes, brotherfucker. You knew that was coming, but go on.
Motherfucker.
For those of you who don't know, that's an infamous quote from a movie that I made the mistake of showing her at her house one night called A Simple Favor that had Blake Lively and Anna Kendrick in it. And for some reason, it just stuck.
And here I thought it was from Samuel L. Jackson.
No, that's motherfucker.
Oh, shut up. You know what? Next time we have people on here, I get the goddamn buzzer.
Yeah, speaking of which, I didn't have to download anything. I was able to do that through Google Slides.
Really?
Yeah, totally free. I'll show you how to do it off air one night this week.
Nice.
You can even actually start incorporating it into your shows if you want.
Oh, good. I can do that about the Mets. So, Jim picked against my Mets last week, although we all picked the Guards to win, by the way,
Well, that's good.
because we hate the fucking Yankees.
Who doesn't?
Did
So
you see the story? Did you see the story that by the time they get back here, the midges will be back?
Bring it. You see
That's one thing I don't miss about Northeast Ohio.
Did you see Jabba Chamberlain actually asked, because he knew when they were getting here, how to get rid of them on Twitter? Do you remember that, Alex?
I do.
That wasn't a plant. That shit happens every freaking year.
Sadly, that's one thing I don't miss.
You know.
But we've got the palmetto. We've got the palmetto bugs instead. So.
Yeah, I'll have them in a couple years, Andrea.
I'm sorry. North Carolina's closed.
No. Well, North Carolina's closed. You're in South, so it really doesn't matter.
But I work in North Carolina, so.
What are you on the border?
Yeah. I can legitimately walk to North Carolina if I was so inclined, which I'm never that inclined to do so.
Oh, you're like that Nicholas Sparks movie that Jim likes to watch all the time.
But I'm not on the coast.
No, I'm going to the mountains.
Wait, what was that?
Why?
Why am I going to the mountains? Because I live in the mountains now. And my size, I'm not made for the beach.
Neither am I, but that's not the point because I'm not. I'm 3 hours inland.
That's where
I'm in the Charlotte area.
Okay, no, I'm going out towards Western Tennessee or Eastern Tennessee, Western South Carolina. That little circle right there. Greer, Asheville, around Greenville, around there.
No, and I tell you with, and I say this with all due respect, Greenville is okay, but just steer away from like the Spartanburg, Daphne area because there's some not so great neighborhoods out there. I mean, that's where Polsner lives. Polsner lives in Greenville.
Oh, I'm gonna run away.
So yeah, I mean, you could go to Greenville and then all shit would fall to pieces because Holzner's out there. But
If it
Um,
hasn't already, it'll be okay with me.
well, if you go out there, then it will.
Probably.
But just know that the Carolinas are on a
Mhm.
county school district. So I don't know what's like in New York.
Yeah, no, it's towns here, but I got family down there, so no, I already knew that one.
We're county, so if you're in the mountains and it snows up in the mountains and your town is a little bit farther south and the schools are closed, just prepare that there will be no schools, no school, and you can see green grass and pavement, and you're like, what the fuck is all this shit for? Why is there no schools?
Hold
Why
on.
is the schools closed?
Let me
Take my kid.
stop you there. That's why we're going down there.
What,
So that your
the
kids can
snow
have
is?
no school when it's
No,
50
no,
degrees out?
so that I don't have to go anywhere when it does that. Right now, I live 45 minutes from my job, and even if it snows, I have to get there. And I'm in a valley, so like up north of me where I work had 18 inches of snow. I had 3 feet, and I
That's
still
just
didn't go to work.
Northeast Ohio. I
It
live in
is.
the snow belt.
Oh no,
I couldn't get in my driveways most days. I don't miss it.
Alex, the snow belt in Cleveland goes like this. In the town that we went to high school, there'd be 6 inches on the ground. Where Andrew's talking about, there'd be 1.5 feet. Oh, you're in
Yikes.
Chicago. You know this.
No, I mean I'm well acquainted with snow and
And then when I worked downtown, there'd be nothing.
Yeah, because
And
it's
then I'd be
coming
like,
right off
okay,
the lake.
this is cool. This is cool. Then by the time I get home, the snow will gradually get higher and higher and higher and higher. And then my Accord couldn't get into the driveway. And now that I have the TLX and that's getting lowered, if I go back up to Ohio in the winter, that car's not going to see winter. Who am I joking? I wouldn't get, there's no way. And Mayfield rarely plow the side streets.
No, my sister's over there now. I know.
So yeah, I don't miss that shit. And then of course it snowed 3 times my first winter here. I brought it. It's okay.
Jim, that board is going to get you in trouble, and it's not even going to be me yelling at you.
That's okay. I know where he lives.
Fucker.
Jesus. Hey, Jim, serious question. When do the Cavs open?
Tuesday or Wednesday, I want to say, because they've got an exhibition game going on right now against Orlando. I want to
They
say
lost.
Okay. But again, it's preseason, and I think they were holding guys out
Okoro went for 17-3-1, but that's the only one I saw that did anything.
in 3 quarters, though.
Really?
Yeah, it's because they had just ended the third, and that was his stat line before you guys came on.
Okay. Yeah, I don't get them here other than when they play, the Flat Earther and the Schmuck, or they play the Knicks. I can't stand him. I didn't really like him when he was there.
Yeah, but if it's not for him, we don't have a title.
Probably.
Facts. Me, probably. Facts.
Doesn't mean he's not an idiot.
I didn't say he wasn't.
Kind of.
I met the
Every
guy.
team's gonna have a knucklehead.
I met the guy.
Yeah, but we
He's a
had
genius,
JR.
but
Well, yeah. Yeah, but we had JR for the knucklehead stuff, Jim.
JR's biggest thing during that run is he didn't own a shirt.
Well, that's what he did that the night the Browns won that game and they unlocked the thing. They were all there. The Cavs had a suite. And when they won it, the people sitting in front of the suite at First Energy said, "Yo, JR, if we win, you got to take the shirt off." And he looked down at him. He went, "Bet." And sure as hell, as soon as they won, he flipped that thing off. He was swinging it around like he was, in Vegas.
North Carolina.
Where's he playing golf at?
North
Is he an
Carolina
NCAA?
A&T.
He had a 4.0.
Yep.
And he's actually taking legit classes.
Yep.
What's the world coming to?
Although I did a story
Some
on
people
this
are
back-
smart.
I did a story on this on the Sports Note back in June. I want to say it was either June or July. His first tournament, they actually had to evacuate the course because I think somebody's ball landed like right on top of a ground nested yellow jacket nest.
Yeah, no thanks.
Those are nasty.
Yeah, there were golfers from because in college, golf tournaments could be held by about 3 or 4 different schools all at once. It's an open scramble type thing. So there were I think like golfers from Jackson State, A&T, Grambling, I think like Georgia Southern, and like 1 or 2 other schools, and everybody was getting stung in this area.
Oh, I believe it.
That's crazy. Alex, what do the Bulls look like this year, buddy, since we actually brought the Cavs up real quick?
Just like every other Chicago team, garbage.
But they have a high-paid mascot, so I guess that balances itself out.
Hey, Joe.
Shots fired.
Hey, Joe.
Let me ask you a serious question now. Who needed money so bad that they did that story? They actually showed who the highest paid mascots are.
It was something
I'd like
about the NW and the WNBA. The chicks playing basketball.
Because the mascots are making more than some of the players. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
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 The guy from Denver's making $625,000.
Yeah. And someone was butthurt because he makes more money than the highest paid WNBA player.
Which they're absolutely right. But let me digress a little bit. Why is Mr. Met not the highest paid mascot?
We're not going to touch that with the 10-foot pole. No,
Or
and
Slider.
I'm going to be quiet because the Mets are my youngest son's favorite baseball team, and we're going to touch that one. But the mascot part of the whole thing, viewership. I mean, nobody watches the WNBA. I couldn't even tell you 5 teams. Well, I'm not a basketball fan other than UNC, and I did only watch part of the Cavs and their championship shit back in whenever the hell they won. But there's no viewership for WNBA.
Which is crazy because
they can't justify paying their players that much money. Period. They don't have the viewership. They don't have people watching the game. They don't have people attending the games.
Which is crazy because it's actually good basketball.
I wouldn't know.
It is good basketball. But it's also the same reason why basketball and hockey struggle out of the gate is because when they start off, there's something else bigger going on at the time. The NFL's in full swing right now. The NHL just dropped the puck on their season back on Tuesday night. There's games going on right now, but we've got college football and the NFL right in mid-season form. By the time the WNBA starts up, baseball's in full swing because everything else is stopped by then. The NFL draft is over. Training camps don't open for a couple of more months. The NBA and the NHL playoffs are done. So baseball's the only game in town at that point.
And as a female, I mean, honestly, I would not want to watch other females play basketball. I wouldn't want to watch like a League of Their Own type baseball game. I just wouldn't interest me. I wouldn't even want to watch a Powder Puff type football game. And I played in the Powder Puff game in high school. We're not going to talk about that either. But it's not as competitive, in my opinion, than the male version of the sport. It's just not.
Well,
and I like to see the fights in hockey, and I like to see the aggressiveness of football. I'm not a basketball fan, and in baseball, there's not that fight. There's not that aggressiveness. There's not that blood and goriness as that with hockey, but that's the pastime. That's it. That is America's pastime. It's just not
Well-
the same if you put females in it. I'm sorry, and I'm a female. I can say that. I feel like I can comfortably say that.
Well, let me throw this at Alex here for a second. You being in Chicago, the Sky are a fairly successful WNBA team. Do they get any kind of run in that town in the summer, or is it just Sox and Cubs?
No, especially in the summertime, it's dominated by the Cubs. I mean, the Sox somewhat, but it's a Cubs town in the summertime here for the most part. I mean, and I know they won the championship last season, but even the parade was just like next to nothing, which is embarrassing because a title is a title, and yes, they are uber talented athletes, but for whatever reason, it doesn't help when they play some of their WNBA games at 11 a.m. So that's kind of a little bit of an indictment as well too.
Well, when the
Mike,
Browns have a parade for their 0-16 season that can outmatch that,
Well,
Hey,
that's self-loathing.
That was great, but Mike, your wife brings up a pretty good point here.
I know she does. And as a matter of fact, I saw that pop up on the right here, and I was going to tell you, pop it up. She's absolutely right. And I have a story that goes along with that. I was working at a sporting goods store here in New York, and we had a rack of basketball jerseys, and one of them was a UConn jersey. And this is back in the day.
Lobo, Taurasi.
It was Diana Taurasi's jersey. And you're talking about, when you talk about the Mount Rushmore of men's basketball, you can argue it for hours. Alex, you and I talked about this. You saw my 100th episode when I did the LeBron Jordan thing. Is there an argument for anybody besides her? Maybe Sue Bird, who just hung him up.
I was just going to say you could throw Sue Bird, maybe a Cynthia Cooper, maybe a Tamika Catchings,
Lisa Leslie.
I would say Lisa Leslie.
Yes. Yeah.
What's his name's sister? Cheryl Miller. Who was the? Oh, she played the first year of the WNBA, and then she coached. And I want to say she coached the Rockers. Blonde lady. What was her name?
Looking it up.
I mean, the Rockers went to the conference finals the first year.
I think they went to the WNBA finals or something.
Did they lose to Houston? Because I know Houston won like the first four with Cynthia Cooper and Dawn Staley.
No, you're right. They lost in the conference finals. It was you're thinking of Linda Hill McDonald.
Yep. And the coaches that come into college, and the women's tournament is just as exciting as the men's tournament. So is the disconnect because it's in the summertime, or is it disconnect because the really good teams like the Sky are in really dominated baseball towns? The Liberty sell out the Garden, which is phenomenal. The Rockers, I don't know why they got rid of them. They were doing fine. But the Sky the Cubs own Chicago from basically what you figure end of March, Alex?
Probably February. As soon as pitchers and catchers start reporting to camp.
The Cubs own the town?
Yeah, no doubt.
I think it could be a little bit of that. I'm not trying to, this is going to sound a lot worse than it comes off, but it's almost like, and Andrea, you'll absolutely appreciate this. It almost has, the WNBA almost has a minor league hockey feel. The more successful teams are in smaller markets that don't draw. Connecticut, Vegas.
Yes, because they don't have that. They don't have the big league sports teams. They don't have the NFL teams. They don't have the major league teams. They don't have the NBA teams. If you put them somewhere, I'm not even going to say Charlotte because Charlotte's got an NBA team, but
kind of
Columbia, South Carolina, they don't have, and that's probably a bad example, but they don't have an NFL team. They don't have a basketball team. They don't have a hockey team. But people still want sports.
What about something like this?
Even, and I wouldn't say even Oklahoma City because they have the Thunder, but maybe I don't know.
That's always been a college town.
Yes.
Yeah, and so the big name colleges, they're going to draw more than NFL teams. I mean, let's keep it real. Like, I think Ohio State has more viewership than the Washington Commanders, but
You also have more talent.
that too.
Except in the
But
wide receiver
you're-
room because they came from Ohio State.
Oh, shut up. I knew you were going to bring that up, Dick.
But you're absolutely right when you say it kind of has that AHL feel, like it's that minor league feel. Like put them. There's really nothing to compete with. You know, when you're competing with the Cavs or the Utah Jazz or the Chicago Bulls or Chicago White Sox or the Cubs or any other major league team sport, they're going to find it hard. They're going to find it. Been a Friday. They're going to have a hard time finding their niche. It's just hard. It's hard to break through, especially when something's been so ingrained in people for so long.
Well, I mean, here's the thing with the WNBA, and I've actually got their franchises loaded up. There's 20. This is actually showing like everything. The one that I'm on is showing everything going as far back as whatever. But you look at some of the teams. They've got the Sparks. There's a team in Minnesota, Chicago. The Sky don't even play in the United Center. Las Vegas doesn't have an NBA team, although LeBron has been very vocal about moving that, about getting that done. Seattle is right now. They're not playing in that brand new redesigned arena where the Kraken are. There's, the thought of them moving in there, they need to start drawing a lot more first. Dallas doesn't play in American Airlines. You got Connecticut. You've got Atlanta. I don't think they play in Phillips. It's, so you got these teams, and, again, it's very much like that minor league hockey mentality. Alex and you being in Chicago can relate to this, even though you're not a fan of the minor league team. But the Chicago Wolves always draw, even though they're not directly affiliated with the Blackhawks, because that's actually because you guys have the Ice Hogs in Rockford. But the Wolves always draw real well. The problem is the Wolves play in Allstate. They don't play in United Center.
Mm-hmm.
You guys have a minor league team in Chicago that's not affiliated with the Blackhawks?
Mm-hmm.
What franchise are they with? Don't say Detroit, because that would be hilarious.
No, the Chicago Wolves have been bounced around. I know my Blues had them for a number of years. I think that they were like Washington had them for a couple of years. Carolina might have had them for a year or two, but it's like Chicago's been around. Like the Wolves have been around since like the mid '80s, but they changed their NHL affiliate every couple of years.
The Cleveland Monsters were like they were affiliated with the Colorado Avalanche, which had nowhere close to Cleveland
Right.
whatsoever.
And the Lumberjacks were the Devils.
Right.
And
And I
then
don't
the
know.
Penguins.
Are they affiliated with with CBJ now?
Yes. Yeah,
Okay.
that
Which I
started
know
to
they
use-
lost to Carolina. So there's that.
Yeah, there's that's the trend that's actually started in the AHL lately, is that teams are now actually taking their minor league affiliates and they're trying to get them as close to them as possible. Like Vegas, their minor league team is now in San Antonio. Seattle actually has one in like Bakersfield or something, so it's like right up the coast. The Kings are Ontario, California, so they're trying to get them as close as possible to each other.
And
No,
that makes more sense
Exactly.
than
They're
having
starting
like
to do that.
Cleveland and Colorado.
They're starting to do that in baseball. Alex, do the Cubs and White Sox, do they have most of their minor league people, minor league teams between Illinois, Indiana? I know Iowa's still got the Iowa Cubs, right?
The Cubs are in Iowa. The White Sox are in Charlotte. Actually,
They're the
The Knights?
the Knights. Yep.
really?
Really?
Yeah, because I know the Mets are all in New York except for St. Lucie down south, like the entire system between Brooklyn, Binghamton, Syracuse. They're all over there. They're mostly all in New York except for St. Lucie, where they have the minor league, not the minor league, the spring training facility.
And
I
I just
didn't
looked it
know
up
that
right now.
Chicago was in You said it's the Cubs or the White Sox that are in Charlotte?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, but
And then the-
typically
And I
with-
can walk to the stadium for my job. That's the fucked up part too. And I've never been to Truist Field.
Don't go.
I never say I wanted to go. I rode past it on scooters one day when I was
They're out tomorrow.
bullshitting around downtown one day, but I can
They're-
walk to the stadium.
The Braves are out tomorrow. Oh, Truist Stadium is not Truist Park. Truist Stadium is for the Knights.
For the
Truist
night.
Truist Park
Is
is for
Atlanta.
the for
It's
the
Atlanta.
Dukes of
And
Hazzard.
I'm for my NL team, I'm sorry, Mike, but I'm a Braves fan. I grew up watching the Braves.
Hang up on her.
You know. When TBS,
what was
you know,
that?
when you had like TBS was like the only channel you could watch. But, you know, TBS in Atlanta was like it was an option in Ohio, so I watched a lot of it. Atlanta Braves.
That's how I watched the Mets when I moved out there. So I
605
got
on the Superstation.
I got a serious question for you now, Andrew, with where you are now, which is the cradle of college football. You are in the South. You are an SEC country.
Yeah.
How annoying is it?
You know, I get so much enjoyment wearing my Ohio State shirt everywhere I go.
I'll walk into Ann Arbor wearing that. I don't give a
The
damn.
funny thing is, there's a lot of Ohio State fans down here.
When we travel,
I get a lot of OH, and I kind of look around like, what the fuck did I just hear? And then I'm like, IO. It takes me a second to figure out what the hell people are saying to me because I don't realize I'm wearing my shirt. It's a long sleeve shirt, and I'm always cold, so.
It's a Saturday. You wear it every Saturday. I'll have it on tomorrow.
I will actually have. I want Mike. I'm
Put it
going to
up.
a car meet.
Put it up.
No.
Put it up
No,
now.
I'm going
No.
to a car meet tomorrow,
I got
so I
put
have
it
to
up.
wear long sleeves.
No.
So
I'll tell her you said no. She's watching, obviously. Come on, Jim.
oh, good lord.
Andrea, my son, last year when I did the Michigan preview game, episode, when Alex was on, Jim was on, our buddy Willie was on, the onesie that Bobby started the night in, it was red and said, I have a Michigan in my diaper.
My phone autocorrects. Like it now has the X.
Does it really?
When I spell out Michigan, it does not put M. It XICH. Now here's the funny story. So my uncle lives in Clarkson, Michigan.
Sorry.
He went to Ohio State. His oldest daughter went to Ohio State. His youngest daughter went to Wisconsin and Hawaii. His only son.
Seriously?
Only son. Yes. Now, granted, his son is in his 30s. They make six figures because they have a fantastic engineering program. I couldn't
yeah, they
say
do.
nothing negative about their engineering program. They have a fantastic engineering program. Six figures, he's in his mid-30s. But when he would write the tuition checks, he would write them on the Ohio State checkbook, and he would write "Go Bucks" in the memo line. And I'm like, that is so my uncle. That is so my uncle. Because he put,
He was a Milwaukee basketball fan.
huh? So my kids were growing up. Yeah, like where do you want to go to college? And they're like, well, we're not going to that team up north. And I'm like, well, that's my boys. But they're going to be Bucks or Ducks, University of Oregon or Ohio State. Because my great uncle used to teach at University of Oregon. So
My brother,
Oregon fans long
Coast Guard
before
out there.
Oregon was cool.
my brother-in-law was in the Coast Guard out there, and he was out there when they played him for the national championship. So I'm sending him all these,
That
like
was a hard game to watch. Let me tell you.
Cardale cooking duck on the grill, and Urban with the gun in one hand and six of them on a thing like this. Oh yeah,
It was a hard game to watch. I had my Ducks jersey on underneath my Ohio State jacket. It was a hard game to watch.
I might go watch that game again tonight.
Alex, what do you typically get in your neck of the woods? Is it typically UI at Champaign, or is it Northwestern?
Northwestern. Or
He's a pet.
more,
Which is my favorite outside of Ryan Day. That's my favorite coach in all of college football, Patty Fitz.
Fitzgerald.
Oh,
Yeah.
Patty Fitz, gotta
I
love him.
love Patty Fitz. I hope they put a hurting on Harbaugh this year.
Wishful thinking.
You're going to be on again on Black Friday, James. We're going to talk. And I'm going to have a surprise for you because now I'll buy the paint. You look creepy like that.
When I roasted you last year,
You
it's
ain't gonna
still our
roast
most
nothing.
viewed clip. Now, granted, a lot of those were mine, but
No.
still.
Hold on. Our most viewed clip has got to be shut your mouth, Mike.
Our most viewed clip of 2022, without question.
Yes, it really is. It really is. So, Alex, I want to ask you this since we got into the college football, and I was going to bring this up before the hilarity started. Have you watched a bunch this year? Because I know you just moved into the house. Congratulations, by the way. Glad to see that you guys are in and things are starting to finally come together. By the way, James, should we give him the virtual birthday spankings or should we just leave that go?
He's the honorary wise guy. He actually gets to call his own shots.
Nice. Okay. Have you watched any this year besides Northwestern? 'Cause I know they're having it's like every other year they have a phenomenal season. Have you watched any this year at all?
Bits and pieces. I know I have a good buddy of mine who's a Kansas fan. I know Kansas is playing well thus far this year.
That quarterback's amazing.
He's pretty good. Only my buddy, one of my buddies is just kind of borderline annoying with it, and I'm just like, bring it down like a couple notches because what else does Kansas have, my friends?
Fans are most Michigan fans, but go ahead.
That's what he says to me, is to bring it down a little bit.
But no, other than that, I really haven't dabbled in much Saturday football as I normally would.
Jim, I'm going to make a provocative statement about Saturday football since we're back on the rails. I think it's more likely two Big Ten teams get in the playoff than two SEC teams.
I don't
Because
know.
because Alabama's losing Saturday.
Yeah, but Georgia's strong. And college
but
football has always been SEC based. Like
If Bama loses to Tennessee, they're not going to get in the title game.
Roger Goodell having his hand up Tom Brady's ass. That's kind of how the SEC is. Like they are just SEC and college football. That's
Hold that thought,
kind of
Mike.
hand in
Hold
hand.
that thought. Here's I don't see. I mean, we're going to see.
Bless
we're
you.
gonna see some things change. Bless you. I don't think we get a pack. I don't think we get a Big 12 team, but I think you could make an argument. You might actually have down the stretch. You might be able to get two Pac-12 teams in.
If USC and UCLA only lose to one of the other and win the conference, I think you're absolutely right. The other one I wanted to say was I had a funny dream the other night. Speaking of things that need to be said,
did the Bambino visit you in your dream?
Legends never die, James. Legends never die. No, but I was on some kind of panel with Rob Manfred, and he asked the panel, Alex, wait. He asked the panel, what can I do to help fix baseball? And I went, resign. But then I had a thought. And Alex, I think you'll agree. I know it's dangerous. Alex, I think you'll agree with me on this one. I think Major League Baseball needs to go scorched earth and do what the Big Ten did and cut ESPN out of it.
Agreed.
They don't care. Carl Ravitch called Francisco Lindor Jose Reyes the other night.
If it's not
for Lindy.
If it's not the Yankees,
mm-hmm.
if it's not, and this should be done, slobbering all over Ohtani and Trout, which again should be done.
The Dodgers.
The Dodgers, no one cares. That entire network doesn't care. These are the baseball personalities: Jeff Passan, Buster, and Ravage, and Eduardo Perez. Love Eduardo Perez. I love David Cohn in the booth. But I still, when the Mets are on, will put these in my ears, put the Odyssey app on here, and play the Xbox.
I, to this day, will do the exact same thing, even though I'm not cheering against them for the next 3 to 5 years. And yeah, we made that joke last time. But every time that the Browns are on, I will turn down the TV, even if it's Nance and Romo, even if it's Gus, and I will put on Donovan. It was Donovan and Deacon. Now it's Donovan and Zagura. And I don't care if
It should be Donovan and Joe Thomas.
I don't care if it's if it's a play ahead or a play behind. It's still better than what the TV's given me.
I mean, I get that, but Jim, how long before they play this at the Browns games? Oh, hold on, there's an ad. Hold on, there's an ad. Come on. How long before they're playing this at the Browns game? I mean, at least until the 13th week of this season. No, but in all seriousness, if they went scorched earth and they said to ESPN, NBC would be great. I know Costas was terrible today in the Guardians game.
He called him Justin Bieber.
Did he?
He
Yeah,
called him Justin Bieber.
because there can only be one Bieber in this world, and it has to be Justin.
It has to
Yeah.
be Shane.
Fuck that guy. Andrea,
pissed.
you'll agree with me. Do not touch the Stanley Cup.
Wait,
Huh?
he had the
What?
He-
The Stanley Cup? What? I can't hear you. I'm losing fun.
They need to go scorched earth. Let Ravage call the Little League World Series. He's amazing at it. Get Fox another night of the week.
You're
Or,
calling to have Tom Hamilton call the games.
well, we're going to get to him in a second. Or, here's another one. Joe Buck is in their employ.
No, I can't stand Joe Buck.
You can't stand
I
Joe
love
Buck because he's
Joe
in love
Buck.
with Kyle Schwarber. That's the only reason you cannot stand Joe Buck.
That too. He's like in love with him, infatuated with him, and he can. But his voice is just obnoxious. I'm sorry, I can't listen to him for a whole 9 innings.
Let me throw this out there. What about CBS? They had them in the 90s.
See, that's the other one.
And CBS,
I try to
regardless
forget the
of what-
90s.
whatever they cover, whether it's college basketball, college football, golf, football, NFL, CBS probably has the best produced broadcast of any sports network out there.
Yeah, but I can't hear Jim Nance calling baseball because that's the only way you get them to CBS.
Right, but you're going to end up poaching announcers like what happened this year with Amazon and ESPN. It's a revolving carousel. You'll get guys.
Yeah, I understand that, but baseball needs a voice it can trust again on a national network. When John Miller and Joe Morgan were the soundtrack of our Sunday nights for however many years it was, you
Those are the
trusted
glory
John
days.
Miller. And here's the thing. I am exactly 9 months, almost to the day, older than ESPN. I'm a
I
firm
know.
believer. I know. Wait, whatever. I am a firm believer in you dance with who brought you. First thing I remember was seeing that was a professional sport that wasn't, tractor pulling in actual games on ESPN was Major League Baseball. And they have let Stephen A. Moore and the rest of them just piss on the game.
Mhm. Wait, you don't want to hear Stephen A. call baseball?
No, I don't want to hear Stephen A. Moore talk at all.
I'd rather wear a Bill Cosby Browns jersey than hear Stephen A. call baseball.
I'd rather watch the Browns play.
Knock it off. Well, it could be worse. I could root for the Pirates. Anyway,
I don't work for the Pirates, so
no, I know. I just like to mess with you, the Pittsburgh thing. But speaking of Tom Hamilton, did you see he's up for the Frick Award again?
I did not. And this year, like this past couple months, have been like I have not watched a whole lot of baseball. I have not watched a whole lot of football. I've been on the road a lot with car meets and whatnot, so I have not had the energy to watch a whole lot of sports. I did go to one baseball game when I was in Cleveland, and that was a good game. The stadium has changed quite a bit, and I missed working at that moment for the Cleveland Indians, and it will always be the Cleveland Indians. I don't care what anyone says, and it will always be the Jake. But I just haven't watched a whole lot of football. I haven't watched. It hasn't been the same. I think this year has just been a little different for me. I haven't watched a whole lot of Steelers. I think it's just because they suck, and I just don't have the energy to deal with it. I haven't even watched any Thursday night football or Sunday night football or Monday night football like I normally do. You know, it's just
You're not missing much on Thursdays. Outside of Hershey calling the game.
and I heard that, but at the same time, it's there was always a tradition of me and my son watching it, even though he now lives in Maryland. We would talk on the phone and watch the game kind of together. And did you see that fucking play? What the hell is he doing? Why are they making that call? Just kind of go back and forth, kind of like we're doing now, but on the phone. And we just neither one of us have really been watching football.
I refuse to watch
it's a different
NFL.
year.
I refuse to watch the NFL this year.
I mean, you could watch your Penguins beat up on a glorified college team like they did last night.
So I haven't really watched NHL, and one of my coworkers is a huge Carolina Hurricanes fan, and I have a friend that's a huge CBJ fan, and I know that Carolina beat CBJ in the home opener, so I have to give them a hard time because, well, it's just what I do best. And it's kind of hard not to root for for Carolina when you're down here. But I just haven't watched any sports, honestly.
See, that's the only
And
thing.
Saturdays-
That's the one thing I do with the baby.
And then Saturdays when I'm in the car, when I'm at meets, I have my games on, like in the background. I listen to Ohio State, but I'm just not watching the game. I get distracted.
Hey,
It's
does
just a
anybody
different
have TuneIn? When did Learfield become pay for on TuneIn?
Yeah. I found all the cheap free apps to watch it on.
That's what I need to do. Alex, I want to ask you one about the baseball thing. And I'm sure you've heard we put up Tom Hamilton calls all the time, the Guardians broadcaster. He's up for the Ford Frick Award, but I'm a little torn because I love Hamilton, but one of the other guys is Gary Cohen. I'm torn.
Yeah, you're in a tough spot right there.
I mean, you got a couple of guys from Chicago that have won the Frick. I mean, I know you hate Hawk Harrelson, but he's in there. Harry Carey, of course. As a White Sox fan, do you have a favorite announcer? And if he got in, would you go to Cooperstown?
Yeah, I mean, my favorite announcer is he's kind of an up and coming guy, but he's doing a lot of college ball. He does a little bit of I think maybe a college ball and something else. But Jason Benetti,
Big Ten
I don't know
Network?
if you've ever- yeah, maybe he does some stuff on the Big Ten Network.
He
Local
did
guy.
a game with Laurinaitis last year.
Probably. He's definitely getting a lot more like mainstream notoriety. He's kind of like doing a little bit less White Sox games, which kind of makes me feel like at a certain point within the next year or two, he's probably going to go to ESPN or Fox or CBS. They're going to probably pay him insane money, honestly, because as a guy who calls the game, like the most interesting person and probably one of the most interesting people, at least to me. And I think he like I said, he's catching a lot of the mainstream media as well too.
Jim, what about you? If Hammy goes in, is that something you'd make a trip for?
You know me, I don't road trip, but I will definitely pull that up on TV. It's
Okay.
hell, I haven't even been to the Pro Football Hall of Fame yet.
Dude, that's 45 minutes down the road. Okay, maybe an hour. Maybe an hour and a half for you the way you drive.
God, where was I? I had lunch with a friend out in Strongsville about 2 weeks ago at the Fatheads Brewery. I made it home in 25 minutes.
At what
I don't
time
believe
of day?
you.
About 9:15.
At night?
I don't believe you.
Yeah.
No, 9:15 at night. I think you can do it.
Have you seen him drive? I don't believe him.
Yes.
My car has never been over 80. My car was at 80, but it was not over 80.
You can still lay claim to that.
I still made it back from Bowling Green to Cleveland in an hour and 20 minutes.
I got you, Pete. My buddy Dan and I, who is unfortunately no longer with us, 40 minutes from Cedar Point to my front door.
That's not bad.
In a Mazda Miata.
My cousin races Miata, so I can't even speak on that.
Going around dead man at 102.
Yeah, been there.
I was in the passenger seat with my buddy. Oh, Steph, come on.
And now do we
Stephanie,
see?
yes, I like the way you think.
And now do we see why she and I are a perfect match?
Anyway, I was coming home from a Monsters game with my buddy one night who was a season ticket holder, and he's doing that. He's doing Dead Man's Curve at 85 in a Sirocco, and he's actually doing it like IndyCar style, like starting out in the far lane and then letting it drift towards the wall coming out of the turn.
I don't know what he was doing. I had my eyes shut when we hit Dead Man. Of course, that was also at 6:30 in the morning.
This was also the same guy that 2 weeks later, when I covered a game for Cleveland State, that he had to go to work and had a cold and decided to come up with a new invention. He invented Beeraflu.
Beeraflu?
He put Theraflu in a beer?
Yes.
Alex, do you see did the people with roots in Northeast Ohio do some sketchy things?
Andrea has her hand raised.
I've got nothing to comment on any of that. Because my new car has quite a bit of power. And when my son went talk to me, I put it in sport mode and I hit the gas, and this kid went like in the back of the seat when like the G forces couldn't move him forward. And he looked at me and was like, "What the fuck is wrong with you?" I'm like, "You talk to me now?"
Nice.
Because I'm that kind of parent. So, do you like my car? He's like, "Yeah, I like your car now." I'm like, "Good, take your fucking earbuds out. We're going to have a conversation."
Yeah,
But,
the 18-year-old used to pull that stuff.
No, he's my 23-year-old. My 20-year-old hasn't seen the car yet. But, yeah, that new car it's been over $120 easily a couple times, and I don't even realize that it gets up that fast. And
Real quick, guys. Sorry to interrupt. 2-0 Padres in the fourth.
Who's pitching for the Dodgers?
Probably Gonsolin.
Who? What? Kershaw pitch game 2?
Mhm.
Yeah, it's Gonsolin, and he already got knocked out.
What inning? Second?
Bottom of the fourth.
Damn.
Gonsolin
Yep,
went in
yeah, but-
a third, unless
Yeah,
they're
but
throwing a bullpen game because Haney already is in there now.
Yeah, but Dave Roberts likes to think he knows how to manage a bullpen when it comes to the postseason.
Blake Snell's already got 6 strikeouts through 4 innings.
Yeah, Blake Snell couldn't find the strike zone last weekend at Citi Field.
69 pitches through 4 innings. I'll take that.
No, the low pitch count too. Yeah, the question is will the real Josh Hader please stand up?
So I want to double back on something here very quickly before the hijinks while I'm thinking about it.
Before the hijinks?
Where were you the last hour?
We mentioned this on our last show, Mike. I want to go back to Deshaun Cosby for a minute. There was something that I said that we were going to bring up that I wanted to bring up the next time we had Alex on. we know what we're going through, and then we also had the discussion as to if they got a deep run in the playoffs or won a Super Bowl, would we be able to cheer for them? Alex, I want to pose the question to you. When the Hawks won their 3 titles, it was euphoria in that town. With everything that's now come out in the Kyle Beach thing over the last 18 months, does it somewhat taint those for you?
I think it definitely does. Granted, I mean, I can't take away the legacy that they left, and those players who will definitely be certified Hall of Famers in Taves and Kane and Keith and Seabrook and so forth. But the fact that they were part of that team and didn't mention anything kind of definitely does leave a sour taste in my mouth, and a lot of those around Chicago as well too. And I know right now that they're kind of going through, the mess that they're going through. Everybody's kind of like, you're getting what you deserve essentially.
What happened?
It even cost Joel Quenneville his job, and he wasn't even there anymore.
Correct.
Kyle Beach was a member of the Blackhawks during their dynasty a few years back. They won like 3 cups. Andrea, correct me if I'm wrong. Wasn't it like 3 cups in 6 years or 3 cups in 7 years, something like that?
2010, 2013, and 2015.
Okay.
So basically what the Giants did. Okay.
So Kyle Beach was a member of that roster, day in, day out kind of player, grinder, like 3rd or 4th line guy, and was sexually assaulted by a coach or something. And nobody did anything about it.
Whoa.
Like very Jim Jordan-esque with the way that they tried to sweep it under the rug.
So is their coach going to Congress? Legit question.
So, yeah, legit question. But it ended up costing Joel Quenneville, who I think is like 3rd on the NHL's all-time winning list.
I was gonna say I'm not the biggest NHL fan. I know that name.
Yeah, he left and went to Florida, and then stepped down midway through last season. Rocky Wirtz, the principal owner of the Blackhawks, came under incredible amounts of fire and had I still have to send you the Steve Dangle rant from last year when really all of this blew up because Beach wasn't named for the longest time and then finally came forward, kind of like the accusers in the Watson case where they did not want to be known. And now as things come forward, now we start to know some of the names with that. But then Beach came forward, and then Dangle goes on this rant and says, fuck you. Here's, we'll solve this with money. Oh, you've actually got more allegations coming out. Here's some more money.
Yeah, that's what's going to end up happening with. I found the picture pages theme, but it's not the whole thing. I can't help it. I'm just very angry at that. Alex, I wanted to ask you this along those lines there.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, Jim, I knew he was going to ask you this next time we had you on. That was a non-baseball show because obviously we're doing the playoffs last week. Have you seen some of the stuff that came out of the home opener from Cleveland? Some of the social media stuff? Like, did you see the guy with the mannequin on the massage table in a Deshaun Watson jersey?
I did.
I mean, am I wrong that
No.
there are some people that just need to be tossed off the 480 bridge?
I get you want to get some humor out of it, but I mean, you're walking a real fine line. And I mean, as a, from a man's perspective, I know that I would not do that. I know my wife would not appreciate that either. So,
yeah, that's what I figured. The other one, there was a T-shirt. Jim, what did that T-shirt say?
Happy endings are not a crime.
No, that was the sign in front of the massage table.
I thought I thought somebody made a shirt out of it too, but yeah,
Did they?
it was along the same lines of that, but somebody did make a shirt. But yeah, you're right.
Wow, I
can't.
missed a lot.
Well,
So
let's bring this full circle. Let's bring this full circle and go around the horn because for any of you watching this live or any of our past shows over the last 6 or 8 months, you've absolutely seen Mike and myself talk about this. We got Alex's take. Andrea, as a Steeler fan, you got 2 Super Bowls out of Ben Roethlisberger. But how did you morally sit with that, knowing the allegations that came out over his career?
It's a tough one because, I'm going to be very vulnerable for a second. As a victim of as a victim of sexual assaults, I don't know where to stand on this because I don't know the whole situation. I don't know the whole story. I wasn't there, and you only get bits and pieces of things, and you only hear what people want you to hear. And being that Deshaun Watson and Ben Roethlisberger are athletes who are making big money, they are prime targets. And I'm not justifying what they did or did not do. And I'm not saying that what they did or did not do is right or wrong. I'm just saying that they are prime targets. And I don't really know how to feel about Ben and the allegations. He fought them, and whatever came of it, came of it. Deshaun Watson, it's very typical of the Browns for them to do what they did. They bring on a guy and they bench him for 11 games. I don't know how to feel about it. I mean, Ben was, and these allegations were how many years ago? Honestly,
Ben was, oh wow,
it was a while ago.
9, but
I
the
believe
most
it was
recent
before
guy,
he was married.
yeah, the most recent guy was less than 18 months.
But yeah, it was. There's always 3 sides to every story: his side, her side, and the truth. And there's always somewhere. It's always somewhere in between. With Deshaun, with them being 25 victims, I have to kind of tend to favor the victims because they're all saying kind of the same things. With Ben, I think there was just 2 people, so I don't know. I mean, it's a hard place to judge. Being a female and being a victim of assault, but I just kind of take it with a grain of salt. I watch everything and I don't really judge it. But I didn't really hear what happened at home opener with the Browns or with this massage table or anything being thrown off a 480. I didn't hear anything about that. I did it obviously because I'm not in Cleveland anymore. But
Yeah, it's bad. It's bad.
Yeah, Alex, just to fill you in, the 480 bridge is Interstate 480 here in Cleveland. It's about, maybe you could actually see downtown from the bridge. It's like 200 feet above ground. It's a suspension bridge. It scares the shit out of everyone because it's always under construction.
No,
like every
it's
other
not
road.
under construction. It's under construction recently, but people have died. People have committed suicide off that bridge. There was a trucker recently that kind of veered off the side and went down the bridge. It's not always under construction. It's been under construction for the last 3 years. That's not always under construction. 90 was always under construction.
They're trying to widen the bridge, but the running gag on Cleveland Sports Talk Radio is and it's, I think it even had its own dummy account. Like anytime something goes insanely wrong, the joke is people are going to line up and just start jumping off the 480 bridge like lemmings.
But that's where we're going to stand and watch the city burn if the Browns ever win a Super Bowl.
Right, because it'll be too fucking cold to go anywhere else.
Well,
it would keep us warm.
I don't think it's ever going to happen in our era, our We're not going to see that happen. I'm not worried about that.
Mike, you and I have always said it. The Cavs was the party because it was in the middle of the summer.
Summertime.
If the Gardos ever win it, that's going to be the celebration because everyone in this town will get behind a World Series. If the Browns ever won the Super Bowl, that's where you could stand on the 480 bridge and watch the city burn.
Mm-hmm.
That's when the coyote will catch on fire part 2.
Basically.
Yeah, but just this time it'll be the city catching the river on fire instead of the other way around.
That's very true. So
Then this is the city of Cleveland we're talking about, so anything is possible.
also true. Alex, you've been such a good sport with the three of us talking a lot about where we used to when Jim still lives. And I want to thank you for that. The hilarity that we promised has been there. So now he gets a
Take
ding.
it away from him.
No. He put something very special on the board for me. I'm very happy that he did that. Do it.
Oh, shit.
You know how many times I said that last weekend?
Oh. Ugh.
Do you want to know the other one I want you to put on there?
When I was crowdsourcing for what to put on the board, first words out of his mouth, I don't think I've ever seen him respond to a text as fast as he did.
You need to have the oh shit Harry Doyle. The other one after last weekend, I was going to have you put on there one goddamn hit.
You can't say goddamn on the air.
And don't worry about it. Nobody's listening anyway. Here's a funny one. Because, like I said, when I play the Xbox, I have videos in my ear and what have you. You know, he ad-libbed that entire movie.
It's Bob freaking Uecker, of course.
But that's what I'm saying. You think about it, some of the most iconic baseball movie quotes came out of his mouth in that movie, and it just off the top of his head. I saw a quote he did years ago, and he said, I was minor league player of the year once. It was my second year in the bigs.
Although I think we can all agree the greatest line coming out of a sports movie is
If you're going to play it, play it. You're really going Happy Gilmore on this. Piece of monkey. Jim, how far back in my catalog have you listened to?
He was off this week, so probably a long time.
Did you hear the movie? Did you hear the movie episode?
I did not.
Okay.
If I did, I don't remember.
I did my top 10, and well, in basketball, I had 5. I did my sports movies of all time. This was during the pandemic, and I think Alex and I had beaten baseball to death at this point in time.
Yes, no, yes, no, yes.
Yeah, exactly. But I did that, and I'm thinking as I'm doing this, and I'm bullet pointing my top, and I'm thinking to myself, what is the greatest line from a sports movie? And it's not that. There's a better line from that movie.
From Happy Gilmore?
Yes.
I was going to say run the damn ball, Bert.
No, Ben Stiller.
You're in my world now.
That one. And then you're not going to make this putt, you jackass. That one. So
Go in the hole.
that's the end of that. But baseball
Your
movies.
hole. I can't get the whole quote.
But baseball movies, honestly, there are 3 that stand out to me, and I want to throw this to you because you just watched one where I have one of them, and it's not You're Killing Me, Smalls. It's when James Earl Jones.
Nickname. That is my son's nickname. Is Smalls. I've said it to him 1,000 times, and he didn't quite get it.
I just watched
told him
it
to go
for the
watch
first
a
time
freaking movie
earlier tonight. It's Alex's favorite movie. I just watched it for the first time because of him earlier tonight.
The best line in that movie is not that. It's not "you play ball like a girl." It's when he looks at Smalls and goes, "George signed this? You're not in trouble. You're dead where you stand."
Right?
The second one is "this guy here is dead."
Cross him off then.
Yep. But the third one is actually not funny. It's nostalgic and pulls at your heartstrings. And it's when Vin Scully says at the end of For Love of the Game, "The cathedral that is Yankee Stadium belongs to a chapel."
Very, very underrated movie.
I missed Robin Ventura's Grand Slam single to take a girl to that film as a favor to a friend. It's been almost 25 years. I haven't forgiven him yet.
Hold on, let me whip a tear away.
Huh? Oh, that
So
one?
let me whip-
Listen,
Let me whip a tear away.
don't even get me started. When he says, "Hey, Dad, want to have a catch?" I lose my mind.
Um,
That and when he tells the kid in the rookie he made the big leagues.
I'm not. This isn't self-glossing or anything, but he and my aunts are like very, very tight friends. Like every time he comes into town, they go out to dinner. His band plays here. When he was in town filming Draft Day for a month, they were together daily.
Really?
Who?
Yeah,
Costner.
Oh.
my aunt and Kevin Costner.
I love him.
I see Andrew Barry thinks he's Kevin Costner. Alex,
Yes.
I had to. So now that James has watched The Sandlot and has lived the
It's about damn time.
suburban baseball player's dream movie, dude, he's never seen The Goonies.
I did cry at the end.
When the jet steals home, me too.
Yeah.
Dude, he's never seen The Goonies.
Well, actually, a little bit before that, when they're helping out the Beast after he gets caught under the fence.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. But he's never seen The Goonies.
I'm still held up in the fact that he never saw The Sandlot until recently.
That doesn't bother me anymore. He saw it.
You know, I also realized
You're
that
like in your
that-
40s and haven't seen The Sandlot.
the
And-
pitcher from that was also Cake Eater from the Mighty Ducks, was he
No,
not?
Cake Eater was Banks. That was Jesse.
Well, it was the same actor that called him that, wasn't it?
It was the kid who called him Cake Eater. But I love my wife.
Damn it, Stephanie.
I love my wife.
And you can too for 1995.
I'm going to let her hit you.
Can I hit him just for fun?
Go ahead. But you know who played his brother in the first one?
Brotherfucker.
Oh, Jesus. Do you know who played his brother in the first one?
Wasn't it Kenan Thompson?
No,
it's Jesse
Kenan
Smollett.
Thompson. It was Jesse Smollett.
Oh! You mean that famous French actor Juicy Smollett?
Yes. Juicy.
I love how they cut him out of the second one.
Chappelle's stand-up thing on Netflix where he went into that.
No, but I need to.
Oh,
If you want to see a good Chappelle skit, go on YouTube and find when he did introduction to Jon Stewart at the Kennedy Center Honors.
Oh, that is a good one.
They've been friends for 35 years.
I've always been partial to the 4 times he met OJ.
I've always been partial to Rick James.
Or Prince.
No, Rick James is the best one. So I got, what time are we at? All right, I got 13 minutes left because then baby's still awake. So I'm going to go put him to sleep at like 11. I'm going to be asleep too, but I'm going to put him to sleep. So I want to put us back on the rails for just a minute, Jim, and I want to hit some NBA with you and Alex real quick. And Andrew, we're going to do a little Cavs powwow real quick. So I'm telling you, pay attention this year. Alex,
Hornets
What have
fan. So okay.
Sleep and rehab is for quitters.
Listen, I know that you don't probably remember high school because I sure the fuck don't, but I had a whole bunch of Hornet shit. Like I had UNC everything. Like
I know.
my mind was in high school, was in Charlotte already.
I know.
had Muggsy Bogue shit from
I know you did. And I also remember the Charlotte Hornets pullover starter jacket
yes, I had that.
because
I sure
Jim
did.
will laugh. Jim will laugh at this one. I had a New York Rangers pullover starter jacket.
God, I heard that sigh all the way down here.
And you didn't even need the microphone.
I know.
One of Jim's many NHL teams, because he's got a bunch, because he is captain hockey.
I got 5.
But don't you dare say anything about those damn Blues.
Yeah.
One of them's the Blues, but my
Blues, Islanders,
Favorite?
Sabres, Jets, Kings.
my favorite jersey that of someone besides me owns, he's got the fisherman jersey from the Islanders.
And you're not wearing it today?
I was hoping for Shane Falco or Al Bundy. I'm going to be very honest.
It's the original 1996 starter jersey, not like the reverse retro that they did last year.
Yeah, he's old school with that. So I just want to hit. I want to get
the 25th anniversary patch on it too.
mm-hmm.
God, that ages us.
Yeah, stop, dude.
He's older than us, so I don't care.
By a year.
And
Whether it's by a year, whether you win by an inch or a mile, it's still older. You're still older.
Yeah, that's
she was
true.
going I thought she was going Vin Diesel on me for a minute.
Game night is tomorrow at Royans.
Yeah, I was kind of going that way, and then I couldn't make the analogy work. So,
Alex, what is your feeling on how the Bulls are going to start the season? Because let me tell you something. We talked about this a little bit before. The Cavs are for real.
Oh, I know they're for real.
What
I mean,
do
adding
and I know Lonzo's out to start the season, right? Zach LaVine's still there. DeRozan's still there.
Mhm.
And was it the Lopez you guys had, or the one that the Bucks had that came to Cleveland?
We hadn't have a Lopez in a couple of years now, so I think
was
it
the
might be the
Bucks.
one from the Bucks.
The Bucks. Okay.
Mhm.
So, how long is Lonzo out for? And do you think they have a run in them if this team in Cleveland is as good as I think it is? I mean, I'm going to get Jim's opinion in a second, but as good as I think it is.
About the Bulls or about the Cleveland?
About the Bulls.
No. I think that from my understanding, Lonzo's out till at least January.
I thought it was a scope.
Yeah, but I mean,
that's at least a
his
6-week recovery. Even a scope is a 6-week recovery at least.
Yeah, but he had
Yeah,
it
but-
already.
Yeah, but I got to agree with Mike. Originally, when we did our last show and we talked about this, he was supposed to be ready by the first week in November. What happened?
I'm just saying worst case scenario because of what happened there during his first scope. He was only supposed to be out 4 to 6 weeks, and it ended up being the rest of the season because he couldn't put any weight on the leg or couldn't run on that leg. So I'm just thinking worst case scenario, probably
Okay.
January. I mean, it's possible it could be November, but I'm not going to hold my breath on it. So that basically rules them out for any type of run. They didn't go out and make any significant moves, so I think it's definitely up for the taking, and the Cavs are right there.
How was your
Chomping at the
draft?
Okay. I think they're still really trying to evaluate and kind of see exactly where they're at. They got a lot of money tied up right now with Levine, money tied up with DeRozan, so they're kind of banking on that, maybe seeing exactly where they are by the trade deadline, and maybe they'll add a piece or two. But they didn't go out and significantly add a shooter, which is what they really needed. So
Are they good
I'm
enough on the
hopeful.
glass?
I think so. They added Andre Drummond, who's going to get some minutes off the bench. We'll see
Who's
how
your
that kind
center?
of pans out. Vooch,
Okay.
Nikola.
Yeah, he'll come off the bench. Vooch isn't somebody you can move to the 4?
We should, but they're probably not going to because they're kind of investing a lot in a young guy they drafted a couple years ago, Patrick Williams.
Okay.
So
What's more likely to happen, Alex? You guys actually add pieces at the deadline with the Bulls, or the Hawks implode and start trading off, finally get a taker for Kane or Taves.
Oh, Hawks implode. I think that I'm surprised it hasn't happened yet, honestly. I think that they're trying to do everything they can to kind of keep Kane and Taves here. But I think it's all but inevitable if you want to get anything back with them being in their early 30s, probably 32, 33 now. You got to move one or both of them.
Well, let me actually pose this question, kind of talking hockey for about 30 seconds here. Where do you see Kane possibly going? Because the original talk was he wanted to go to Buffalo, but Buffalo's got so much good young talent, especially after some massive contracts to some of their existing players as late as yesterday. I think that's off the table.
The only other team that the Blackhawks apparently do trades with is Carolina, so I could see him going to Carolina being a Hurricane.
He can keep that red and black going.
He could.
Hold on.
He certainly could.
Aging superstar. Questionable ethics at times. He's a James Dolan player.
The Rangers have no money. I think the Rangers are pretty close to capped out, if I'm not mistaken.
This is James Dolan. This is the guy who ran the Knicks into the ground. He'll find a way to get Patrick Kane. If it means trading away his young core, he will find a way to get him.
Yeah, because his hometown's Buffalo. Buffalo to Manhattan is only a few hours away. Yeah,
about 6.
Just a quick question for you, Jim, because you probably would know better than I would. Is Panarin still in New York?
Yes.
He is. Okay, so
Yep.
I mean,
Red,
I know that.
Yeah,
that's Kane.
They actually have to figure out what they want to do with the Breadman. Especially, well, that's what his nickname is.
His nickname.
Zach used to work at Panera, so I think that's hilarious.
No.
Pantera bread, 5 minutes a loaf.
Nice.
The Great Southern Bread Kill.
Jesus. I mean, Alex, how big into hockey are you? Because I know you and I usually talk baseball, NFL, stuff like that. I mean, how big into the Blackhawks are you?
I don't specifically watch them. I just watch quality hockey. My brother's probably even bigger hockey buff than I am. But within the past probably 10, 15 years, probably just before the Blackhawks really kind of turned it on, it really became competitive, is when I kind of really got into it, and my brother was the catalyst for that. So I don't watch day in and day out, but when I can watch a good game, like I definitely will.
Yeah, I haven't watched hockey in a long time, and I got to catch up on it because Jim and I feel so. He comes onto the Ohio State show for me. He did the preview of Notre Dame for me. I got to do a hockey show with him.
You do.
I got to do a hockey show with him, and I promise no Ranger commentary. Okay.
Don't make promises you can't keep.
No,
Mike.
If you know the Rangers suck, clap your hands. If you know the Rangers suck, clap your hands.
Okay, enough.
If you know the Rangers suck, then they'll never win the cup. If you know the Rangers suck, clap your hands.
But that was the only year I watched them. Was '94. What were you saying, Alex?
Mike, I will say, this is going to probably be a little controversial, but we're October guys, love baseball to death, but playoff hockey is fantastic.
No, I agree.
Fantastic.
I agree. Stanley Cup.
The hardest trophy to win in sports and the greatest trophy to win in sports.
In my opinion, the postseasons go like this. And again, I'm a baseball guy, so obviously October's up here. But 1A is the Stanley Cup playoffs. I know that for a fact. And I know, again, I'm not well-versed because I gotten out of it. And quite honestly, when the Rangers started going after all the old men trying to keep people in the seats, it just annoyed the hell out of me. But yeah, no, the Stanley Cup playoffs are insanity. So it's like Major League Baseball, Stanley Cup playoffs, NCAA, the tournament.
I was gonna say March Madness better be up there, man.
Yeah, because I'm sorry, the NFL postseason is trash. It's one game where you go to a party and it's got these big ratings because everybody's sitting there not doing anything, and all anybody cared about last year was a halftime show.
Well, you have to admit the halftime show was kind of good.
I've watched it 4 or 5 times since then.
Okay.
I loved it.
I mean, I pulled a couple muscles trying to relive my youth.
Yeah, I sat in a chair and just bopped.
Yeah, my son laughed at me because I was like, "This is my shit." But yeah, I
Let me
digress.
pose this question. You've got your hype music as like Metallica and Megadeth and Scorpions and Ozzy.
Her team plays Phil Collins in the locker room.
Why have you not like pulled Metallica?
For 2 reasons. One, they're not as mainstream as everybody they've pulled, if you notice.
Metallica will still outdraw anybody on the road, period, any day of the week.
I agree. And 2, because Roger Goodell's a moron. Well, I don't know if you guys can hear. I'm being paged.
Yes, I can hear it.
Do you hear it?
Yep.
So, James, thank you for. We should wrap this up anyway because we're all old, except for Alex.
I don't know who you're talking about. I'm
Oh, knock it off. So, first things first, and one more shout out, and then we'll wrap it up. Happy birthday, John Rice.
Happy birthday, Rice.
birthday.
It's today, and I think he was doing a high school football game tonight, so he didn't get to see it. If Nikki's post was right with it, but Jim, it's been a year. I feel we've come a long way, especially in this last week when you put everything together. So thank you. You did an amazing job on the soundboard and the intro music. Of course, Timmy Trumpet was pretty easy with me. And going Let Tea Eat with Alex was phenomenal. The logo is great. The intro video, I've watched it 5 or 6 times already, and it's on my favorites on YouTube already. I am so glad we got this going again. And I'm glad I was talking about it when I hit 4 years of my show. Spinning it off into this has been one of my favorites. Only in it, Wise Guys is here, and the Big Rican Baseball Show with Alex is like right there. And that's just because Alex and we met through another podcast group that we were in, and they were mostly football and fantasy football guys. And I said, yo, I need baseball people. And they gave me him, and that was the 2019 season, Alex?
It was, yeah. Yeah, time flies, man.
When you're having fun.
And
What do you got to wrap with, kid?
And if it wasn't because of you and I getting together September last year and finally deciding, like, you beat me to the punch saying, hey, you want to bring back the Wise Ass Sports Show? And then we did it October 4th of last year. I want to say it was either October 4th or October 10th. I got to go back and check the date.
Yep.
If it wasn't because of that, the JC24 Sports Note on YouTube is also approaching 1 year. That'll be coming up on New Year's Day. I'm less than 2 months, so I'm just over 2 months away from that.
Oh, that's right, because New Year's Day, you're with me talking about the Rose Bowl.
Right. And I posted the Becky Hammond video later that afternoon, or actually
That's
just
right.
prior.
That's right.
Fresh High School will be so proud of us.
They should be, damn it. Well, I'm going to say thank you to Andrew. It's nice to see you again for the first time in like 25 years.
It was either the high school reunion back in whenever the hell that was at the Mexican place.
Were you there at 17? Listen,
Yeah.
after the picture of Snyder hugging me like I was his wife, I stopped paying attention.
I was mostly focused on my phone because that was my son's homecoming.
Oh, nice.
And I was like, he's going to call me. There's going to be an emergency. I have to run. And that's kind of why I was like, I did not want to be there to begin with. I'm like, I haven't spoken to these people since high school. And there was probably a reason why I didn't want to go. But Heidi Hageman paid for my ticket. She's like, you need to come.
I gave people my drink vouchers that night because I had to drive. Alex, we got a World Series preview coming up in a couple weeks. Thank you again for jumping on here. Jim, I am going to pop out before you do your closing because I got to go grab the kid. But listen, man, thank you so much.
You want to close? You want to close up?
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you from the wise guys from the bottom of our hearts and the top of our wise assness. And we will come to you again in the next several weeks. We're going to have World Series stuff. We're going to have JC Blue Note's going to have his JC Sports Note every week like he always does. And his Browns reaction. Alex, find him at row 7. And I'll be doing the review of the Buckeyes sometime this week. So thank you so much, everybody, for watching. I'm going to go grab the kid. Have a great night, everybody. Jim, Alex, Andrea, good to see you. Take care, guys.
See you too.
Mike, I'll talk to you tomorrow, buddy.
See you, man.
Andrea, thank you so much for jumping on with us tonight.
Of course. It was fun. As always.
You're always welcome. You are always
Anytime.
welcome. Anytime. It's
I didn't get your
have you
call.
actually-
You know what? I was listening to my messages and I never heard my phone ring. So I'm glad you messaged me. So anytime.
Well, I will probably be in touch with you at some point tomorrow from game night. I think the Rows are coming. Might be like one of our last times we get together before Friendsgiving. But yeah, I will certainly be in touch with you probably sometime here this weekend if possible.
Send it to my messenger. Send the link to my messenger. So I don't have to have it on my phone and I can actually use my camera on my computer.
You got it. Well,
All right. Well, you take care. I will see you soon. I got to meet tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. So.
Well, you go get yourself some sleep. I actually am now getting ready to figure out what to crack open because I don't have to be up tomorrow. So
Well, enjoy.
I napped this
We'll talk
afternoon,
soon.
cutting 3 hours worth of video footage. I think I'll be up until 3 or 4 tonight. I don't have to be there until 7 tomorrow night.
Well, enjoy your night of editing and whatever it is that you're doing.
Good night, my friend.
Good night, brother fucker.
And finally, on the way out, again, thank you to everyone out there who came to us live. Thank you to everyone who has supported us for over the first year, as this is also being simulcast on my personal page. We will be back with you here, hopefully before the end of October. Certainly, coming up in November, you'll be able to catch me here at the JC24 Sports Note. You can see the link down below. Catch up with all of us on Twitter. All of our handles were there, and links to our sites in the last few minutes. Thank you again, everybody, and we will see you very, very soon.